currently at 5-1. So I'd say this is a pretty high stakes match here to secure a solid spot in the playoffs.
Yeah, and like you said, two of the top teams in the season right now or in the current league, definitely shaping up a little bit different than what we'd expect. With Demons Raw not at the top of the leaderboard, although they are close. But even then, let's take a look at the draft that we have here. The ban phase. Okay, well, starting off with the starting awakenings, fight or flight or ad rush. This means for the most part that you're either going to lock into a KO comp, which is weaker on this patch, which most likely means that both teams will lean towards the fight or flight and go for absolutely insane speeds. We can see that Rune, Rune and X banned away. Juliet, uh, why I forget the character's name. Juliet Octavia now locked in for Bozo Bunch. And then on the other side for Demon's Raw, we have the Zentaro, Aimi, and the Kai in the midfield. So again, both teams having a lot of speed. We have both now and Octavia for Bozo Bunch, and only Kainu, who is piloting a speed character, so to say, over here. But this is something that he is strong with, starting off with the double barrier partnered with Snake here, leading off to a powerful 0.1, but they are not pushing back just yet, or I should say, Bozo Bunch is fighting to get this going. Octavia's looking really low here. That's one of the downsides of being a character with such a low stagger bar, but it does not matter. The primary comes in and manages to snipe it in for the first point, going over to Bozo.
Yeah, really great primary there from the Sonic Boom got that one in there. Another thing I want to bring up here is you guys saw on your screen just a moment ago that we actually have and Dropletto both taking Magnetized Souls here. And everyone else has, well, everyone in the game has taken Fight or Flight, but Gumi is the only one to take Adrenaline Rush. We actually don't have any, actually Snake is the only one here with Slick Kicks, but man, really interesting to see the Juliet Brawler. You know, I mean, she has Octavia on the team. Octavia can play basically every role, but like Juliet, and we have Magnetized Souls on the midfielder as well. So really interesting speed that they're going to try to get this the center speed gate a lot, basically to, you know, have as much control as they can here. But man, big power play for the side of Demon's Raw. Can they actually secure a point here to even this one up?
Yeah, and I like that you brought up the Magnetized Souls. The meta has definitely shifted, even though we've been on this patch for some time. Teams have come to adapt and realize that Magnetized Souls, even double Magnetized Souls, between both of your forwards, seems to be the play. It is become the most popular pickup. You see it more in solo queue. You see it definitely here in NASL. Something that we saw with Bang Bang. They started picking it up really early with the double Magnetized Souls, and it has caught on quite a bit. And I like that teams are adapting to it. But again, going back and forth here, flips in front of the net. Kainoob not able to secure it, tries to stall out a strike and abilities, but has to wait through all of it and gets rejected by Obscure Breads. Going back and forth here, we can see Dropletto's low, and it gets it through the mine there. The mine not able to catch it fast enough. Snake with a great strike, getting it into the bottom pocket.
Yeah, good work there from Demon's Raw, evening this one up here. Got a flip onto Gumi, though. We'll see if we can get a little bit of offensive pressure, possibly a double situation, but does end up ejecting right on back there, though. Snake seen at half health now, possibly a kill target, getting almost triangulated there by the opposing team, but gets a really great Sonic Boom primary stun into the ult. The base drop. It's going to be a really great power play. I love that synergy there.
Yeah, if without that Sonic Boom, Kainu would have had enough time to react and elusive there, but good on Gret or I for seeing that and managing to come up with their own little combo, but it is not enough, as constantly they are being pushed back with low stagger. The space is opening, and the defensive lineup between the midfielder Octavia and the now goalie is not holding up enough to some of these stuffing abilities between the Zentaro primary or the barrage from Kai. It seems to just be able to push through, and we don't have any of these anti-stuff tools. And we can see just a few hits gets I so low on the Octavia, and it's going to take a set or two for them to pick up the stagger, get the levels, scale up with awakenings to be able to compete.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they have Now and Octavia. Those are some of the lowest stagger characters, basically, in the entire game. I think, what's his name? Kazan is one of the other ones as well, but not seen in this game just yet. One barrier down here for the side of Demon's Raw here. One for Bozo Buns. Oh, Obscure Breads is going to miss a strike there and actually drop the other barrier there. Kind of with a really great backup, and Snake. Perfect offensive pressure with the rush and had flipped just in case something had gone awry. And it's going to be Demon's Raw taking that first set here. We got Kainu Gonna grab a first awakening.
The midfield mafia coming in clutch here. First pick going over to Kainu, like you said. We have one spark on the lineup, which means that most likely that one spark will... Oh, sorry, two sparks. A spark most likely will get picked up by someone. Most likely that's what the Juliet is going to go for. Twin Drive being taken up by Kainu. A spark going over to Octavia, which means they're going to be playing for that Spark of Resilience play, ideally, in the future. The Timeless Creator taken away from the IME goalie. It is such an oppressive tool when on that Firewall Sentry. 1-2 punch going right back over to Gumi, which paired phenomenally with that Adrenaline Rush. And then besides that, the Spark of Strength going to Juliet, which is nice because they don't have the pummelers here, right? So they have a little bit less of that KO potential that we typically see on Juliet, but one single Spark of Strength adding in so much power, 24 power, and scaling with any additional sparks means that even without pummelers, we should be KOing relatively fine as long as the dash punch connects.
Yeah. Oh, really great strike shot there from Obscure Breads, but nice reinforcement there from the barrage. Kainoob's got it there. I was going to mention also, as you were saying, the deny, like the pick there, 1-2 punch from Gumi was such a great like deny and benefit there, right? Because the adrenaline rush, like you're saying, it just goes so well with what they're trying to do, and is the perfect deny. Juliet being a lot weaker without that pummelers, like you also mentioned there, and they're going to try to work up some power with that spark. Although having spark on the team is pretty good to at least have one person to take some of those sparks.
Yeah, I completely agree. You have both people, both of the forwards having access to the sparks there, which means on a future draft, if two of them appear, or the odds of you collecting all the sparks is higher here. But a great flip from Snake, gets the KO, has no more elusive, but it does not matter. Gumi in there has to eject button back, and now we have the power play coming out between the members of Demon's Raw. Gumi trying to set up a play to get it over to Snake. Missed the glitch pop a little bit, but ends up getting there. Nice Firewall Sentry. Can it connect? A good defense coming through from the Octavia there. Manages to keep it out of the Firewall Sentry. Snake looking low. The counter offense coming through. Dropletto, can he shove it in? Does not have any abilities. Tries to send it into the Dorito. Is not able to get it, but the second attempt gets it on the tip. Kainoob, just a little bit misstep there. Was not able to connect.
That was great. Good setup there from the Sentry drone is going to be just enough to... Actually, not even just enough. That ball went pretty fast. It's quite strong when it's at full size there, especially with some Timeless Creator to make it even larger, too. Obscure Bitch has a really great defense in that point as well, and actually has a flip here to possibly help get this last little barrier here and defend against Snake. Is going to use it. Felt enough pressure from Snake there, who's actually taking so much power. It ended up getting a kill onto Obscure Breads. Like, wow, insane synergy there from the side of Demon's Raw.
Yeah, and we can see the Adrenaline Rush proc. Gumi's trying to make as much advantage of that situation here. Goes for the flip into the glitch pop play. I absolutely love it. We don't see this enough. Being able to use the time you have while the core is elusive and untargetable to reposition yourself, and using a ranged ability to then set up your play there, and he does it masterfully. This is something that we start seeing on Rune more often. We see Vaughn do stuff like this all the time, and I'm glad to see it happen on the IME as well. But a strong comeback, both barriers being taken back as one gets traded from Snake. Eye looking low, has to jump back. Gumi using that eject button to try to get as much stagger, but we can see that Eye is doing their best. Final elusive is gone, and people are brawling here.
Absolutely. I've noticed multiple times here that Dropletto has not gotten a dash punch kill, like right at the edge there, just missing a little bit of power. The 1-2 punch probably would have gotten every single one of these kills, but really great defense here from Demon's Raw. Gumi might be out of abilities right here, though, as Octavia does have the place or the flow state up with combo of Dropletto's dash punch. Is going to stun Gumi enough, and they're going to get that one in there to even up at least this set here. But they do both have sparks. They have a lot of potential for this next draft, and they're going to be trying to win this set for sure.
Right, there's so much that they can pick up here between the sparks, the stagger awakenings, the stagger swagger, and then on top of that, just more damage over there to Dropletto if they manage to get it. And a good offense. Oh my goodness, almost manages to get it, but Gumi with a great clear in front of the flurry there. I'm surprised he managed to clear it out of there. Really impressive. I think that was a little bit of a misplay on Dropletto. That should be a guaranteed point. But regardless, the KO coming from Eye on the Octavia, level 7, the highest in the game alongside Kainu. And now they need to get this core over, but Kainu is just holding it down in the midfield, is not letting anything pass through. He is the wall between his half and everyone else in the world. You can just see how much he held down, but even with Snake coming back enough, just one pass needed to get through to Dropletto to allow him the opportunity on the net.
Yeah, that was a really great defense there from Kainu, working a lot of overtime there, but the flow state just a little bit overwhelming, and with the power play over, it's going to be just enough to get Dropletto on in there. And we do have Octavia, first pick here, possibly the best pick on their team to grab the first awakening, but is going to end up okay. I mean, they're never taking Deadeye, so it's fine to grab peak performance there, but yeah, best character on their team, I would say, to get this pick here. We get a second spark onto Dropletto, though, one of the better sparks here. We got this extra special showing up for Snake, which is, honestly, I've heard a lot about this recently, as people really do like to take an extra special on Zentaro recently, and that's kind of cool. Kainu with Knife's Edge there, going to help with a lot of the edge pressure there, getting a lot of speed and power. Obscure Bread's grabbing Castellash, which is good on now. Actually has double duration there for those projectiles, which is going to be quite nice. And overall, I think this is going to be kind of like if Gumi can get some of these kills with all this power, that's kind of where this advantage is going to lie.
Yeah, and we can see that Snake managed to get full prizefighter stacks the last set. And now with the help of Happy Star or Extra Special, one of the tools that he has to help secure the KOs if someone is staggered is up more frequently, which means more stagger coming through, more repositioning, and more attempts on net as well. The Dropletto tries to go for the shot there, is able to connect with the fist, but does not go into the net here. We have the offensive pressure coming through. Gumi holding onto that elusive, does not need it as of yet. The extra special coming in right there as Snake pops the ultimate here, but Eye looking low. A great heal from now, manages to get him back up, plus the orb pickup. And we're still just going back and forth here as Eye is trying his best to get the core up to Dropletto. One of the issues with his comp is that it is really on Eye to push the core up as far as possible, because Dropletto does not want to use abilities in the midfield, right? He wants the abilities as much as possible to score on net, but as I say that, manages to catch the strike going up over to Kainu. Doesn't need any abilities in that moment.
Yeah, really great. Also, as you mentioned as well, peak performance showing up for Eye. The stagger is actually probably going to make a big difference here. A big 350 and an extra speed. Kind of a great awakening there for Eye. Try to hold this midfield and stay in the fray a little bit more, but Snake is going to use that nice dashing strike passive to grab that barrier here. Gumi on the front side almost grabs the barrier, but ends up finding himself in the garbage there after getting flipped right off the map. Obscure Breads sending one of these drones on you here to help out, but really great defense here from Snake, and Kainu perhaps losing a little bit of health there, but not enough. We have the power play is over. Gumi is back to defend, almost makes something happen there with a really great cyber swipe, but now it's getting kind of flipped on here from Dropletto. Yeah, really in the controller of who is flipping to make that decision, and it was the right one there for Dropletto, and they're taking a little bit of an advantage here in this game.
You can see the damage coming through. We have 2 sparks on Dropletto, and all of a sudden 154 power on this Juliet means that even if he doesn't get the KO off the side through the knockback, any dash punch or ultimate is going to do a lot of damage. But as I say, that Dropletto manages to just miss Snake with the combo, so we have a couple seconds before that comes up. And oh my goodness, weaving in the strikes, manages to get it. I wasn't even sure. Was that Eye that scored that, or was that Snake?
Snake did end up catching the ball there. They might have struck in the same direction,
okay,
possibly, but Snake is going to be the one to at least receive the credit for that goal. Now they're going to work on some of this base drop action here. Eye just doing a bunch of damage in the midfield here, but getting hit by literally everyone there, and it's going to find themselves out of here. The peak performance not enough. Even Dropletto kind of taking a ton of damage, going to have to back out for just a moment. It's almost a double power play there, but Dropletto does maintain a little bit of control here. Does enough stalling. Both barriers are still up here. Power play over. Nice hold here from BOZO Bunch.
Yeah, and that was an insane amount of damage that came out from Gumi onto Octavia there. With the power of the Deadeye plus 1-2 punch, we saw Eye just get absolutely blown up before. But even with that, it is BOZO Bunch who have the advantage on the barrier. They just cannot get it through. I think once the stagger has come through, the awakenings that come through, this comp has scaled, and oh my goodness, into the drone, bounce around the world, and that is another set 1 over for BOZO Bunch.
That is actually like the dream. Is now sets up a really nice drone. It gets kind of big at full power, and then you just pass it into the drone, and it's just aimed at the perfect spot there. Really nice from Obscure Bed to set that one up. We do have Dropletto as first pick here. Not really seeing any sparks right now, though. Unfortunately, they're going to drop the Chrono Boost over to Kai. Kai always kind of getting Chrono Boost here, denying some of these jump perks here, as Obscure Bed is going to grab that explosive entrance. Getting Catalyst for Dropletto, quite good for the Flurry, ton of extra energy. Rapid Fire on Gumi, quite good as well. Unstoppable for the Octavia is going to make her a little bit more durable. And Demolitionist, also quite good for Snake. I'd say this is overall just a good draft for both teams. We'll just see if this Catalyst makes like the big difference.
Yeah, I think Dropletto probably got the worst out of it, although there's nothing wrong with Catalyst. When you're in that first position, already have 2 sparks going in towards the final sets here, you were definitely hoping to find that last spark. But regardless, Catalyst is going to generate so much energy, does not need it, sets it up perfectly off the corner 45 angle, and dash punches it through, although Gumi did pop the elusive, was not able to clear the ball out. And this is a strong start to this set as we move forward. Another thing I wanted to mention is I like that Obscure Breads opted to take the explosive entrance away from both Gumi and Snake rather than go for the little bit more greedy play and pick up the Monumentalist. We know how good Monu is on the now, but on now goalie, it still is really good. But it's one of those things where they understand that, hey, if they get this, they can win, and I'm not going to let that happen, and I can't even finish my sentence before Bozo Bunch manages to score another point.
Yeah, Dropletto got in there nice with that flip. Maybe a little bit of extra energy there from that Catalyst. But yeah, like you mentioned there, the explosive entrance was a pretty solid pick and a great deny overall here for Obscure Breads. Just reducing a lot of the power potential from the opposing side here, though, as a lot of pressure is being put on here from Demon's Raw. Snake gets on in there, but we do actually see a power play as well from the side of Demon's Raw. I is going to have to hold this ball as long as physically possible here with the assistance here of Obscure Breads, who is basically a strike away from getting this flip. Oh, getting knocked back and forth against the wall there with that Firewall Sentry is going to be a little bit rough, but got that lifeline on deck there, though, and they're going to try to find Snake. Okay,
oh, manages to get both flips out from Demon's Raw and save it, although this isn't looking too good either way. Well, actually, Dropletto clearing things up a little bit, but Gumi manages to stay up, finds the angle between them. I would still say that was a pretty good defense, and getting 2 flips from Demons going into the next point is gotta help, because Dropletto is close to his, which means that he can use that energy to pop barriers or to score if he manages to get it up. And with I now in his final form, with the Octavia, level 10, has some stagger, has some speed awakenings, has some unstoppable. They're doing much better in being able to participate in the fight rather than having to keep weaving in and out every time they get hit a little bit.
I can definitely agree with that here, though. He might be looking at a kill on Dropletto, who does have that flip. Gonna just stand on that thing, get lifeline, but it's not enough to unstagger you just yet. Stands around for just long enough to finally get unstaggered and restaggered one more time as I and Obscure Breads are blocking from the bottom as much as they can. Kind of sends the ult in there, but doesn't seem to land it, though. I, still having that flow state, can kind of go grab the ball even if they lose it themselves. Dropletto getting knocked all over the place still. A flip finally from Snake grabs the final barrier as well. Nice point here for Bozo Bunch, man. If they can find a way to hold on to this and keep it together, they could secure this entire first game.
Oh, tried to go for it again. I actually think that wasn't the play this time around. Flipping and then immediately striking and using that time advantage would have been better, but Gumi goes for the attempt, and I can't fault him for that. Both barriers are dropped everywhere, but the Firewall Sentry comes down and it secures, just throwing it back into the turret over and over again. That is the way you score these points.
Yeah, I want to say that Gumi's placement of this Firewall Sentry has been pretty pristine every single time. It's caused just so much havoc. The opposing team, Bozo Bunch, just does not have enough strikes to get it on through, and they don't have enough health either, as I and Dropletto are both getting hit kind of hard. The lifeline comes in to heal Dropletto at least above half. Nair gets knocked again under half. Ainuba going to retrieve the ball one more time. Gumi trying to find one situation to get it onto the top side, though. Dropletto still looking at just about no health, can barely play this whole point.
And yeah, at least manages to live so far. Dropletto, unfortunately, out of all defensive options, has no access to elusive. Tries to go for the dash punch, almost gets it just a little bit off there. But a good set of skills at least manages to get Dropletto up to par with the stagger. Barrier dropped open. If they manage to take this, Demon's Rock can go into a set 5, but you know Bozo Bunch is trying their best to close it out right here. They don't want to bother with a set 5. It's one of those things where Demons knows if they're going to a set 5, they're probably going to take it all, and the momentum needs to be stopped right here. And a good barrier take.
Getting a flurry. Huge, and the punch to go with it, man. Actually taking that game. Kainu could not get that strike in there to beat. They actually did 2 strikes for that situation and dropped Leto. It's going to be our little MVP there. Well, not really. Maybe the MVP. Maybe Drop Leto's the MVP. He's just got the camera.
And that is game 1 going over to Bozo Bunch. Let's see if this is going to be a nice long BO3 or if it's going to be a 2-0. I don't remember what the second map is. Oh, okay, taking a look at it now. It is Atlas Lab, a map that I'm always a fan of playing on. And this is Bozo's pick, by the way. So Demon's Raw ended up going for the night market. They did not end up taking it, losing in set 4, not even set 5, with a lot of a surprising amount of KOs still coming out from Demon's Raw side, right? We see a total of 7 KOs, a good amount of damage. Gumi with over 40,000 damage in 4 sets, a Snake with over 30,000, and then it was mostly just Bozo Bunch who were trying to live and take advantage of the speed with that fight or flight to start off with. The Octavia managed to get the stagger, scale up, a few kills on the Octavia allows that level comeback EXP to come through, level them up. They were probably the highest level throughout the entire game for most of it. And all these small things added up. So I'm glad to see Bozo Bunch stuck to their comp. I mentioned the Octavia before we got into that draft, and we saw it get picked up by I and take it all the way through to win that game 1.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I do think I was probably highest level there. Had the highest amount of redirects there, highest amount of touches as well. Solid amount of damage. And yeah, I think the KOs actually don't reflect as much damage as Demon's Raw was dealing. It felt like Bozo Bunch was finding ways to survive some of these staggered situations here, especially with the now having the lifeline healing and getting you above the stagger. They seem to have lived a little bit longer than Demon's Raw would have liked them to. But moving on to Atlas Lab, much more. Actually, I mean, Night Market and Atlas Lab are both like kind of the neutral stages of this game. So going to the second neutral that we have in play here, starting off with Unstoppable and Adrenaline Rush here. Really awkward to see Adrenaline Rush a second time here, though, but Unstoppable, pretty good at mitigating some of that pressure that we were going to see for sure.
Yeah, it depends on what type of composition you go for here. Taking a full Adrenaline Rush, even into Unstoppable, is completely fine if you go for characters that have multi-hits. For example, if you have a Centauro, then it does not really matter if you have Unstoppable, right? Because all of his hits, or I should say all of his hits, his ultimate and his primary, and then having access to that passive as well, are multi-hits. So that means that the Unstoppable just procs off pretty quickly. But if you have characters that rely on a single instance of damage, maybe such as getting KOs off the side with a Juliet dash punch, that is a little bit harder to fulfill going through. So taking a look at the draft phase here, we have the Octavia banned away. So Demon's Raw will not want to face off against that again. Bozo taking the Rune away, something that both Gumi and Kainu can play, and gaining popularity as well. Rune taking a nerf in the next patch. It took so long for him to be strong, but he is strong. So if you put in the time and you can play him, he will reward you. So happy to see both of those bans come through. Pick one for Demon's Raw is going to be the X here. Again, something that can utilize the Unstoppable himself or go for the Adrenaline Rush, because that ultimate, being the X Maximus, having so many multi-hits, means that you don't particularly care too much about the Unstoppable. Taking a look at the rest of the draft, it is a pseudo kitten comp for Demon's Raw with the Mako in the backline, but is going to be the Aimi in the midfield. Or I've seen this in the solo queue mines, Envy, is Kainoob on the Mako midfield.
Oh, not too happy about that. It could be a little crazy. We might see something brand new here, though, but I'm not sure if we will see the reflection of those solo queue mines just yet. You know, another character that we haven't seen yet, but I think is pretty good against Unstoppable is Kazan. Maybe if we saw a size perk instead of Adrenaline Rush, we maybe would see Kazan there. I think he's also pretty good at cleaning up those kills, and just, I don't know, overall, he's got those light hits. He's got a ton of extra things to knock off the Unstoppable, but deciding to go X and Rasmus here, which is fair. I mean, I'm not going to say, oh, you're a noob for picking X or anything.
Now, taking a look at the picks here, we have the Rasmus now Kai for Bozo Bunch, most likely going to be Breads on the Rasmus goalie. And then on top of that, actually no, we're mixing things up quite a bit here. Drop Leto on the Rasmus. I was expecting Breads to pick it up. He has a really good Rasmus goalie. And I was going to make a point that the unstoppable Rasmus goalie is not that good because you need that pendulum swing to be able to connect and hit stun your opponent to clear properly. So glad that I interpreted this incorrectly, and we'll see Rasmus in the forward position here. But the same thing kind of still applies here when you're Dropletto and you want to go for that attempt on barrier or on net. One of the best ways for Rasmus to score is to space out that pendulum swing so that you line up the hit with the core and the goalie at the same exact time. And that's something that we won't be seeing as often because all 6 players opted in for Unstoppable.
Yeah, for sure. 6 Unstoppables. We got, again, 1 Slick Kicks, 3 Magnetized Souls as well, 1 Strike Shot. Gumi taking Momentum Boots here on the Mako. Has a lot of access to a bunch of different Awakenings Mako does. Pretty good scaling off any of them, but we still have 2 barriers up right now. Gumi opting to blow up the center black hole every time they get the chance here. Really happy to keep a lot of the pressure on. Dropletto almost gets a really great strike reset there with an ability use, but man, Gumi holding it down here with Kainu. We got 3 flips for the side of Demon's Raw, 2 flips now. I spends theirs just to try to help defend, and it does successfully though, but they can't seem to get this last barrier from either side.
Yeah, once this Firewall Sentry comes through, but just missing it on the way there. Firewall Sentry, a great tool to help stuff it down. Snake most likely waiting for the X Maximus to return here to help break it through. But the Unstoppable is making it so hard to get through these final barriers. Mako is a great character, by the way, in terms of defending against Unstoppable, with the primary having the multi-hits as well. And then the ultimate managing to go through regardless of Unstoppable existing. It still connects, it still pops, it just doesn't do the hit stun. We saw it right there on Dropletto. So a character that can utilize the 6 Unstoppable of play, I guess, meta just fine. We see the damage coming through, but it's almost not enough to KO Dropletto there. Snake getting a great pass from Kainu, finds it into the barrier, and now finally it is open here. Open net on Bozo Bunch's side, trying to get it through. I and Dropletto going together, aren't able to connect. The drone is there to set up for the rebound, but once again, not going through and breaking anything here, and we're just going into the stalemate in overtime. Finally the barrier drops, and who knows who's going to get it at this point. Oh my goodness, that is not the way I expected the point to go.
I actually had the tinfoil hat on to avoid the mind control, and in fact getting a perfect barrage through that pass there, getting that barrier and getting that strike. After moving forward there, I was kind of the MVP of that last little bit of the point there, but like you said earlier, Kainu had a really great pass to Snake to get the barrier as well. So both teams are kind of feeling good right now, playing kind of nice. Dropletto looking kind of weak right here though. We got now with a minor bit of healing. Everyone thought Kainu was going to have the ball there, but kind of didn't. No problem though. Demon's Raw is going to recover from this one there. Everyone full health now, except for I, who is blown up.
Yeah, and there's no... there is healing thanks to the Now, and it's one of those things where I think if the Now didn't exist, we'd be seeing way more staggered KOs come through. Paired with this Unstoppable, it's going to be so hard to kill, and that's something that Demon's Raw are really good at, right? They want to be able to KO some of these people when they apply the damage, but not having that option, it always makes it feel bad when you get all this damage off and you just can't do anything about it. But the barrage getting through into the barrier, the Mako flip, sending it right back into Breads and I, and the great tag team passing it around, keeping the momentum from the flip coming back and just redirecting it into that bottom corner. I gets the second goal for Bozo Bunch here and giving them a strong lead. If they get this, we're going into a nice strong start, set 1 in Bozo Bunch's favor. Demon's Raw has to step up if they need to compete.
Yeah, I agree there. I hate to use this like caster trope when it's like uncharacteristic of, but like literally an uncharacteristic doesn't flip before the barrier gets hit from Gumi there. I was so sure that was going to happen, though. We do have a really great kill from Snake using the flip to help knock off onto the stage here, though. It's going to be I that falls on off the board. Bozo Bunch has a little bit of a mountain to climb as they... Dropletto is also looking kind of weak. Lifeline just used, no healing left. Kainu does have flip to get this one on through if they need it. Snake making sure that we have some more reinforcements here. This one barrier is your whole life for the moment. Kainu can just get the ball to Snake maybe one more time here though, but honestly, Dropletto doing a really good job of keeping themselves on the front line here, receiving some of these passes from I, and one more chance here. Damn, they can't seem to get the barrier right now though. The Unstoppables, like you said,
a
are really
glitch
just a big problem.
Yeah, and we're seeing so many attempts go through onto these barriers. Finally, the glitch bot from Kainu manages to get it around all the way through the corner, breaking the barrier here. And now Obscure Breads has to defend a full open net. And a nice passing play from Kainu to Snake, a redirect, no flip used from Obscure Breads, which means we're going on to the next point and got to try all over again.
Yeah, it really is a struggle for these players to just get these two barriers. These goalies, these midfielders are doing such a great job of defending here. It's just going to be that the whole time. Maybe a couple of kills is what they're looking for here to make this a little bit easier, but the Unstoppable is just making so much problems for trying to get any of these kills here. Almost a perfect double from Jableto, but Gumi with a really great reaction with that flip to make sure that that does not happen.
One barrier finally gets to drop down. Unstoppable backup for Gumi. No flip or elusive available, though. One barrier traded right back. Tries to use the Giga Blast to get the redirect on the core to send it right back down. Kainu goes for the flip, isn't able to connect with anything. Snake is really close to his own energy burst here. Trying to get into a position where he can either get a KO or try to flip and get it around into that barrier. Also, one thing that I want to point out that Demon's Raw have been doing really well, they seem to be taking advantage of the black hole in the middle way more than Bozo Bunch. I feel like every time the black hole pops, it's on Demon's Raw turn, and they're usually inflicting quite a bit of damage or stagger onto Bozo Bunch while doing it, because they do it while the Unstoppable is down for pretty much all the members of Bozo.
Yeah, I think I've seen the black hole pop onto a member of Bozo Bunch the last like 3 or 4 times there, so they always kind of just end up jumping on that one guy and staggering them just about instantly, though. But it's going to be Snake, the one that's staggered currently. Dropleto looking a little bit weak here, though. Still one barrier left for both teams. Almost been overtime every single time, but Dropleto is going to finally confirm a kill there onto Snake, and it's going to be a power play. Can they just get this one barrier here through Kainu and Gumi? Kainu does jump away, though, kind of allowing Bozo Bunch to get it through Gumi. It's going to be a rough situation here now for Demon's Raw.
We saw how tough that was. Just constant barrages coming through, abilities coming through, and still with all the Unstoppables and the double strikes with the midfielder, it took forever. But the Sad Boys angle, making it so that no barrier will fall over there in the end, and Demon's Raw have to now attempt this once more to try to get this. But a late flip. Brez does not catch it, and now the barrier has fallen. We are in an equal situation here. Flips being traded left and right as Bread trades one for Gumi. And now the closest one is Snake as he sets up. He's just waiting for Kainu to pass it on over to him. So you have a feeling Snake is just exuding that aura right there. He knows that if he gets the ball, it's going in. But the flip is so scary from I, and there it is. Manages to get it through. The dribble up the top, barrage to reset the momentum, and then just throw off the balance, flip, and just straight shot through Gumi.
I feel like something I also want to bring up here, and now I might get some hate for this, but I am noticing what I feel is that Kainoob and Gumi are not on the same page. I feel like Kainoob is just a little too close to Gumi. Gumi may be moving up at weird situations. They're stacking strikes. I've seen a double flip this game, and it's just kind of something about what's going on right now between that team, between Demon's Raw. Feels like the midfielder and the goalie are currently not on the same page. I'm not sure if they have practiced as much as they should have very much recently, but I don't know. That's kind of what it feels like what's going on.
Oh, and I have to keep an eye out, but it's definitely hard. This is the team that you typically expect, where the barriers drop really fast, they're getting KOs, and just passing plays between everyone will secure it through. But the defense from Bozo Bunch has been doing so well, but coming out strong on this set here. Both barriers dropped, the fastest we've seen of any point so far in this game, as Snake tries to get his energy burst here and set up in front of Breads. I like what he tried to do. I think he tried to pop Breads' elusive there, or Breads' Unstoppable while walking into the black hole, but wasn't able to reach. He did not flip in front of the net and went for the bell ringer instead, and I think that cost him the point there. If he just walked up and flipped, I think Snake would have been able to score on there, and instead it is Bozo Bunch with the barrage coming through from Kai that gets the point. And one of the things that works well into Unstoppable is barrage, right? You have this multi-hitting tool that does not care if the first hit is an Unstoppable hit, if the second hit is a strike, because the third, fourth, and fifth barrage hit will eventually get it through.
Yeah, for sure there. Barrage also going to be giving you a little bit of strike reset as well. Obscure Breads, ooh, getting it past Snake there, not getting mixed up by that movement is going to be quite nice there. Kainoob It's not going to help Gumi one more time here, though. Does stay up far enough to where I think they will not stack strike, so that was definitely a minor improvement there for that exact play, though. Gumi going to have to defend against Dropletto, who's not done with this one here. Gets the death touch to keep the pressure on, but now Kainub in the right position to help Gumi with a couple of extra strikes and get that one perfectly out of there, though. See if Obscure Breads can maybe get the pressure on with this flip of their own. And it's going to be... oh, not much just yet, though, from that one, but keeps flip on both sides.
And I want to quickly talk about the draft from last set. Taking a look, we have a spark apiece on each side, so that's something to keep track of going forward. We can still manage to reach 3 sparks total. And then the biggest one that I'm actually going to point out here is going to be I with the aerials, as well as Snake on the Catalyst. So we can take a look at the Egoist Catalyst play potentially. And because it's so much harder to KO with this current Unstoppable setup, the extra energy that you get from Energy Burst might be the defining factor on breaking these barriers and scoring these points.
For sure. Flip definitely is going to be the best tool that you can be using here to grab some of these barriers. And, I mean, Snake had Catalyst last point as well and decided to hold that flip in a situation where we were like, yeah, they could have possibly scored if they did run up and flip, but decided to hold it even having Catalyst there. Interesting decision, but, you know, I'm not going to be on the front of saying, you guys are bad. Not yet. Not yet. Just give me a couple more games and I'll get on there, but... Snake finally building up one more of these flips here if they can just get right on in there, though Kainub does get it close enough to Snake to grab that one nicely. Now they have finally an open goal. It's way easier now.
Oh, I like the attempt there, the strike shot being able to save it, but a good rebound into a shot onto the bottom. Not able to secure for Snake as Dropletto goes for it, misses does not connect to the barrier there with his own energy burst. That is very surprising, but hey, these things happen. The BOZO bunch still have the advantage here. Oh. But as I say that, a great glitch pop sends it through, and I think the hit stun from Snake on the X-Max, oh no, it was just a perfect redirect from Snake that kept going it through. Obscure Breads did manage to strike it, but Snake striked it right back. So glitch pop plus the X-Strike combo manages to tie things up into this set here. We have 2 energy bursts apiece for Demon's Raw, with the third one coming up in just a few more hits. One of the benefits of X is that he gets to just stand in front of the barrier and strike and use abilities, and he'll just generate an energy. He'll just generate a flip because everyone's going to be hitting him, and that's just how Catalyst works.
That's exactly how Catalyst works. Hit or get hit, you get a lot of extra energy there, which works really well against things like Barrage too. You end up landing a couple of barrages on 2X. He's going to get a ton of extra energy here. Kainub and Gumi both have this flip. I want to see Gumi maybe move up just a little bit here with Kainub. It's be a ton of pressure for the BOZO bunch. He's going to charge up just a perfect pitch here. Gets the ensnaring jump, but not much. Barrage quite good against it. Obscure Breads with a really good angle on that drone is going to be enough to get it on through.
No, the sad boys again.
The sad boys angle. I feel like Demon's Raw has waited exactly when they should to get some of these strikes on through, and it's just getting the boys angle. It's inexplicably sad.
Yeah, and BOZO bunch getting the lead now. Barrier dropped, and even though Dropletto is low, the lifeline coming in. A good attempt from I. Tries to get it through. The barrage is right there. Dropletto going in. Only has his strikes. Is not enough. Kainub with the glitch pop gets the KO. Trying to turn things around. Here we go. The Catalyst flip coming through. The Firewall Sentry trying to line it up. But even with all that, it does not drop the barrier, and we take it. The perfect pitch coming through to get that bounce onto the barrier here, and finally things are tied up. Snake going onto the net here, trying to get it with the bell ringer, isn't able to connect it. Once again, the black hole is up, shot off the bottom. I trying to walk up, has the barrage, has the secondary. Actually, secondary is not active right now, and now we are in overtime. Core is moving fast. This is where the double Maxwell shines. The barrage not able to connect. A good clear from Gumi, and all around the world goes, and the strike war goes over to Snake.
Whew, that was kind of scary there, but it was a really great wait there from Gumi to get in front of that barrage before striking the ball. Everyone, stand in front of your barrages before striking the ball. That is how you are going to defeat that move, as intolerable as it is sometimes. We did see that BOZO bunch was able to survive a couple of crazy situations where Kainub set up a really nice firewall sentry there. Obscure Breads is kind of putting in overtime here, but so is everybody else, honestly. Keeping this game competitive, though, even though we do have BOZO bunch at 1 point in this current set, but really great combo there. Cyber Swipe flip is going to be enough to grab a power play here for Demon's Raw. Can they get this final barrier, which has been the hardest thing this whole game, and they do.
Oh, and there it is, the movement speed. Gumi's walking up. You said it before, you wanted to see Gumi move forward when the flip is there. We see the energy boost come out, but not really the best play as a... Oh my goodness, there it is. Snake doing snake things. Oh, they're doing...
Okay, all right.
They got it, they got it. And that is a lot of energy, or that's a lot of EXP that went Snake's way with the double kill. So just keep that in mind. Even with that, it is Kainoob that gets the MVP here. And the reason I wanted to bring that up is because if Snake managed to get it, there's an egoist sitting right there for him. And I think that's going to be a must deny here. If you are I don't think you can really go for anything else in this situation. Not that there really is anything else you want. I think the egoist is, yeah, you just take it away. That's all we got. If you're Snake, you yell at Kainoob for getting too much EXP and costing them egoist. That is Kainoob's fault.
Yeah. Tough to avoid there if you're Kainoob, though, as you're playing quite well, getting a lot of kills, doing a lot of damage. You are all over the place there. Team player, an alternate win condition here for Obscure Breads, though. Drop Little gets second spark as well. Snake, a little bit of size, too. Gumi has explosive entrance to make that drum and bass just as more effective than before, but Kainoob also taking Deadeye and just getting even more power than before. Snake, nice walk up there with the strike right into Obscure Bread's face there. Getting that barrier nice and quick, real efficient this time here. Oh, that strike shot is perfect to deny Snake's little dribble there.
Yeah, and taking a look at everything we have here, I think one of the biggest picks of this draft is going to be that team player. It's one of those things where, especially on a game like this, where we're not getting KOs that frequently, although they were coming out last point, the speed that comes out from team player is going to be so nice. Does not matter though. Snake off the bottom bounces it, resets it with the flip, takes the shot, walks up with the bell ringer, all options covered, gets the first point of this set, and now Demons RAHH finally, after a full 2 games, are in the lead of this particular game.
Yeah, Demons RAHH possibly favored to win this, though, considering the last performances here at some of the NASLs that we've seen here. Wow, really nice point. Getting the ball right behind those barriers is going to end up being a double. And, man, Snake gets on in there with the help of Gumi, too. Man, really good point, and that's some of the stuff that Demons RAHH is going to have to make more use of. I mean, they didn't even use Flip at that point. They have both of them. They can make those plays even easier than before. It's going to be all on BOZO Bunch to try to reduce the situations where that can even happen.
Yeah, and trying their best to get in a situation here where maybe I can get the Ego's procced, but has to use the elusive a few times to dodge some of the abilities. We have the Deadeye Amy with the Spark of Strength here, so it means that you cannot just tank these even with Unstoppable. You just take a lot of damage. So much energy economy over for Demons RAHH because they don't need to use anything to elusive at this point. They have the damage. They also have the speed from the Mako with the extra explosive entrance enhancement over there, and we can see Snake, the way he positions himself is just in a spot where if Kainoob gets the core forward at all, Snake can take advantage of it, and that is the quickest set of this game, the quick 3-0, and we might be looking at a game 3.
Yeah, Kainoob kind of went turbo mode right there and got the ball straight to Snake through all of that thick and that thin. He's going to be rewarded here nicely with stacks on stacks here. We're going to see what Drop Leto can grab here with 2 sparks, Super Surge, which is acceptable as well. Extra special, quite good for X, and some of the situations I've seen here, helping get that first barrier, it's going to be quite nice. Chrono Boost, fine on now. It's not super amazing, but if you're going to buff your teammates, it's quite good here. Rapid Fire for Gumi, a lot more perfect pitches coming in hot. And Size for I, which is, no, it's not the worst perk I've ever seen.
So the decision there was between like Missile Prop and the Build Different, really. And with Missile Prop, you already have the extended range from the aerials, and then the extra damage most likely won't do anything because it's Unstoppable start. So I think that's the logic there. You just go for the size for extra strike range, really. And these things do matter. If you play midfield and you take size occasionally, you realize how much easier the strike wars become when your character is 20 to 30% bigger.
That's true. I can definitely see that there. Having size, making the strike wars nice and easy is quite good, especially when trying to give the ball to Drop Leto, who has fallen off the board, but you guys secure the point anyway because I, sitting in the midfield exactly where they're supposed to be, is going to be putting that one in as everyone's got their sights set on that kill.
I feel like that was a size difference right there. Yeah, I was looking back a second ago, and it was such a deep strike from I that it looked like it was inside Kainoob's character model that I thought Kainoob was the one who struck that.
Oh, huh. Interesting. defending more on the top side here with that ensnare drum. It's not going to do any favors just yet, though. Snake losing a ton of health, but it's actually going to be a kill from Kainoob, I believe, to get Eye off the map there, though. Snake's gonna try to push it onto the top side here with Kainoob on the backside of Skirbreds. Has Flip gonna spend it, not get much other than one barrier here. Oh my god, goodness. Combo there from Kainoob, dude. The classic Cyber Swipe glitch pop is gonna end up hitting them another power play. Snake currently in X Maximus trying to grab this last barrier here. Beautiful wait from Kainoob, but Flip from Snake. I mean, they are just putting it in right now.
It's X. It's excessive.
It was excessive. He was so big. The wait from Kainoob to actually wait out that bell ringer was like, damn, that was lit. that was just good gameplay, I don't say.
Yeah, and take a look at the speed that Kainoob has when walking around the midfield with the stacks, with the Mako secondary there to speed him up. It is so fast. How much movement you have, and movement is the key stat in Omega Strikers. The more movement you have, movement is everything. Movement means you can hit your damage more. Movement means you can dodge damage more. Movement means you can reposition faster. It's just everything, right? So, and we're seeing it how quickly we can just get into these favorable positions with how much speed that we have between the 150 pancakes and Maxwell's, and then Gumi holding down the spacebar button, being really skillful there in the back line.
yeah, Kainoob was at about 700 speed there. Went with the drum and bass on, which is quite a bit. Again, holding these flips here. Gumi and Kainoob have them. Snake is just about to make one of their own. Double flip once again. Not on the same page exactly, but I would say that situation was a little less egregious than some of the others here. Snake just has flip on the front line of Skirbreds, crying their eyes out as giant X is flipping on your face. Tough situation here. Demon's RAHH really trying to even up this one to get on over to that Clarion Corp match, Game 3.
Yeah, and if they take this, we're going to a Game 3, like you said. Bozo Bunch, once again, would rather avoid that and take the 2-0 right here. But Demon's RAHH have scaled. We can see that the Awakenings are in their favor at this point. The speed is in their favor. The Snake doing anything on X is popping off. The Catalyst is coming through, but around the world it goes and breaks the barrier for the first time. Bozo Bunch have a shot on net. A great Giga Blast, but a good save from Gumi. Manages to try to get it in between both of them. A little bit greedy there, I would say, but even then, a good shot on net. A KO from Kainoob. The Deadeye plus Spark of Strength coming through. The flip. Tries to go for the hit stun and leaves the core to Kainoob, but isn't enough here. Snake is looking low. And I manages to come back, and he's coming through blitzing, and it is enough.
Okay, Kainoob, most of that point, again, was just in Turbo City. And then when they were finally out of moves, I comes back, has the cooldowns to just blow right through and gets that point. But I'm seeing some like crazy gameplay here from Kainoob, actually entering the Matrix basically right now. Is they're gonna get another power play here though. One more little barrier to drop here again, but you know, if Bozo Bunch can manage this point, they do keep themselves alive, and this set will be, well, reset down to 0-0, and goddamn if someone could just get one of these barriers.
Yeah, this is such a key point here for Bozo Bunch, right? If they take this, they don't have to worry about next game right away. But looking at the flip into the strike reset, Snake, and oh my goodness, just X with size, with the spacebar held down by the Mako, giving him even more size, giving him speed, giving him and he has the energy from the Catalyst, and everything is just lining up, and there it is. We saw how well Demon's RAHH scaled going into that, and with each successive set, they were just getting harder. It was getting harder and harder for Bozo Bunch to compete here. And now we have to go into this final game. Let's hope for a little bit of a different Awakening start, something that isn't as boring as Unstoppable or Fight or Flight. But even then, Atlas Lab going the way of a Demon's RAHH. 9 points for Snake, 6 points for I. We can see that most of the time the way to score was through the barrage. And this was one of the things that I also mentioned with Dropletto on the Rasmus. Rasmus not being a bad character or anything, but when you have this unstoppable start, you cannot just use one of the biggest strengths of Rasmus is the ranged stuffing ability that you have thanks to Pendulum Swing, because you just can't hit stun the goalie. And that is something that we saw come as an issue, where those barriers just would not drop at some point, and it had to have been through I a lot of the times, or some crazy fast core going like around corners that broke a barrier.
Yeah, for sure. Rasmus is going to certainly be neutered a little bit there from the Unstoppable. They're approaching like the goalie. Sometimes you're going to have to like dribble the ball, throw your ult at the goalie just to make sure that pendulum swing can actually land. But the situations didn't seem to show up that much as we had Kainoob just all over the place, doing a great job of defending and just getting the ball over to Snake. I mean, oh my gosh, the last like set and a half of that game was just the Kainoob show. I feel like Kainoob got like 150 redirects in like the last two sets, pretty much, and it's possible because they were just all over the
Yeah.
place. Clearly, the MVP of that game, but either way, Bozo had a chance to bring it back there. It was pretty close. It was competitive, and now we have our game 3 here on to Clarion Corp. What the starting awakenings will be, I am excited to see. Not unstoppable. I'm not trying to see Adrenaline Rush. What do I want to see? I don't know, but hopefully something really cool.
Yeah, something with you give like one give me a prize fighter. I just want to I just want to
Oh, you
see
just
things.
want the pain.
I just want to see things blow up at this point.
You just
And the
people
nice thing about
die.
Clarion is a lot of the compositions just work, right? There's no like with Night Market, you have the Night Market comp, in Atlas Lab, damage is a little bit better, on Amy's app, you have, certain specific comps. Clarion is kind of just things work, right? If you know what you're doing, you can kind of just make anything work. I think Estelle is a lot stronger on Clarion as well. I'd love to see the rune come out if it doesn't get banned away this time around. And it's also going to depend on pick priority on what we see. The Mako and the Atlas can be picked here as well. So it's just one of those things where you'll probably just see things based on the starting awakenings. Okay, we have Knife's Edge and Big Fish,
Oh,
which is interesting enough because Knife's Edge is again a speed awakening, even though it gives some power. You want to take the Knife's Edge if you're in the midfield, which seems pretty obvious. But a lot of times, sometimes you opt in for the other choice if it is something that you think works well, and then you get blown past because you don't have the speed yourself.
yeah, this screams Juliet. Not only do I believe Juliet is like pretty damn good on this map as she has a lot of these side lanes to get kills on, and the flurry is going to block a lot of these side lanes as well. But these awakenings are quite good for Juliet, both of them. So that might be a ban for one of these teams unless they are trying to get it here, like Bozo Bunch here, first pick. So Demon's Raw might be opting to. I mean, you don't have to pick Juliet here, of course, but I think that that is going to be kind of a big pick here. We might see, like you mentioned way earlier before, Asher being picked a lot more often is quite good on this map as well. And there goes your Rune ban. I also want to see Rune. Rune is fun. Rune is
Rune,
interesting.
I
Rune
love
has some
Rune.
stuff. He's got some
I've
sauce.
I put in the prerequisite 200 games of Rune running it down before I got good at him. Right?
Me
That is
too,
just
dude. We all do it.
that's just a requirement before before you're allowed to play the character. You just got to run it down forever, and we just don't get to see it. And it's surprising because Demons Raw they do play Rune and they have good runes, but it is not the team that I would just consistently keep banning Rune out from. It was something that I would take the Rune away from more of like a Shianzu or a Vaughn that it's just like a team that uses it more. So I'm surprised it's being banned with such high priority right now. But even then, taking a look at the rest of the draft here, not allowing the X to go through to Bozo Bunch, we have the first pick now. Once again, Breads has been performing really well on the now, keeping the lifeline, which has been all this extra stagger coming back in, preventing Demon's Raw from getting even more KOs than they normally would. It is the Atlas and the Octavia going over to Demon's Raw, taking the Octavia pick away from I, not allowing I to have it, and instead the IME is going to be going right back over to Bozo, paired with that Juliet, like you mentioned.
Yeah. Oh, kind of strong. I mean, it's tough. Both of these comps have quite a bit of potential here. Of course, Octavia is just this overwhelming force that is really hard to douse, and having Atlas at her side as well is going to be just harder to get her damage, to get her off that map. But hey, a combination of like Juliet with Amy, pretty damn good. You know, if they take any damage here, we also have now Obscure Breads once again, most likely hitting this now. And we have that Asher pick. Asher quite good, quite big at closing lanes. I mean, her the Path Splitter is also just a lane closer as well. I mean, it's just good on this map. So I think that this is going to be pretty engaging. I do actually like Demon's Raw comp here, but it's kind of in the hands of Drop Leto to see if they can really make some of these Julia kills happen.
Yeah, I think without the kills, it's going to be tough because the defensive lineup of just Atlas, nothing else, no midfielder needed, just Atlas holding it down is plenty good, and it's something that Juliet players know that they hate playing into Atlases just because Atlas can stop the attempt on net from so far out. The expanse just prevents dash punch from working, and if you get hit by the primary before your dash goes out, the core just gets pushed through you. And it's really frustrating because then you buffer the dash, you go through, nothing happens, and you're just like, oh my goodness, I gotta deal with this again, especially if he gets any sort of CDR or twin drive or prime time, for example. The Atlas gets really, really annoying to deal with. So I'm going to say that yes, Dropletto has to get some KOs, or it's going to really be a lot of pressure on I to set up plays with the Firewall Sentry, the Glitch Pop, the Cyber Swipes, to help enforce some of these offensive attempts on barrier or on net.
Absolutely, we will be seeing some of that for sure. Knife's Edge on every single player in this game. No slicks to be seen. Magnetized Souls on all the forwards as well. And it's just going to be kind of a brawl. Double strike shot as well. Almost perfect symmetry here for these teams. So we're going to start here on the Bouncy House map, which I would say this is probably one of the hardest maps to play on as a goalie. I mean, it's no why, like, you know, why? Obviously, you get a ball just going too fast. Honestly, but we'll see. We'll see here if we can get some of these points here. Dropletto probably not going to find too many kills on this map specifically, but
yeah, but this is a good spectator map, and
yeah,
Demon's Raw starting off strong. Both barriers, Bouncy House, like you said, just all over the place. So hard as the goalie to defend.
Now we're on over to the Expanse one here. This should be interesting though. Again, a lot of these characters here that we see on the map are good at closing these lanes here. Dropletto kind of approaching. Oh man. The 6-man Knife's Edge is really making this kind of crazy. You can see everyone just kind of smashing onto that ball all in the same spot as they're all just so fast enough to get there.
Yeah, we have the speed because of the lanes, like you said. We have the Knife's Edge pretty much constantly having 100% uptime for most of these characters. And then when you're walking through the midfield, getting that extra boost from the Magnetized Souls, it's just so much movement speed. And then here comes the flow state, but with no extension coming through, it is the quickest flow state known to man. Drops as fast as it came right back on. Doing it with a good bounce to get it off the corner. Does not allow his barrier to fall. It has no elusive or abilities really to use anymore. And a nice play. Oh my goodness. It just went all around the world, and then a strike from Snake sends it right back into the top. Core is moving too fast. It wasn't even overtime. That was such a fast shot that just went through.
Yeah, really nice freezer right there from Snake. Just in the perfect position sometimes. Feels good, man. He's going to set up that Firewall Sentry. Not too much is going to come out of it here, though. Obscure Breads does save that little barrier. You do have Kainu. This is the perfect map here for Octavia, as she can strike the Maelstrom ball in the center here and just keep that flow state up. Doesn't seem to get any kills here with that base drop, though. Has the flow state still. Looking a little bit weak, but going to be Demon's Raw losing both of their barriers in that situation. And Obscure Breads nicely defending against Snake, and those angles are not going to do Demon's Raw any favors here, as they're not going to even get one of these barriers.
Odin does not manage to get the KO onto Dropletto with the Asher dash punch. And it is Demon's Raw who have to break both barriers still, and like you said, managing to keep up the flow state thanks to that middle orb. But it is Dropletto who gets the orb, the size, and the point there.
Well deserved here. The Maelstrom Orb gives you a ton of health and power and everything else you could ever want, dude. I think it like even heals you like 50% or something kind of crazy. But moving on to this next map here. These are some of the side lanes that you're going to have to be a little careful of here, especially with the Knife Edge. Everyone's really strong, and boom, Kainu, base drop into flip is going to be just enough to get that power play going here. Obscure Breads can't defend it here. Kainu on the bottom side to make sure we get that pass, and Obscure Breads not stunned, opting not to flip there, which is a reasonable Actually, it's three. It's
It is
unreasonable.
not reasonable.
Wait, unreasonable decision.
Yeah. As the set is over.
That's the set. That was quick.
And that is a quick Demon's Raw set going over their way, and we have Octavia up front, has the pick of the litter here. Can go for something like stacks or go for a little bit more size with, or not size, like a spark here. So, opting in to go for the spark angle, getting the spark of Rezo. Decides not to go for the stacks. The threat of getting KO'd is still higher when you don't have as many levels and you don't have the stagger built up. So the spark is nicer, and then you can play for any other spark. This also scales well with peak performance, right? Because if you get the extra 400 stagger from here and you pick up peak performance later, you get like an extra % or 2 of movement speed, which always adds up.
Yeah, for sure. I love those little synergies here, especially when they used to have a lot more of these stagger awakenings in the game, bulk up, and reverb, I believe, is the other one. Is there another one too?
We got Reptile Remedy, we got Naked Drakar.
Naked Drakar, of course, you can't forget Naked Drakar. And of course, we're on the bouncy house here. Gumi losing those barriers without any say in the matter because it's just the ball going red and you are crying most of the time. Scurebread still can't even get there. Gumi getting a little mixed up there, but not enough to lose the ball. My goodness, Dropletto almost ends up getting it on through there, though. Snake can't seem to get the ball away from Dropletto, and it's going to be a sentry there. Not really doing Scurebreads any favors, and scoring it on through. Snake putting up just enough pressure to get it on through, and it was looking a little scary for Demon's Raw on that map, but clean it up, keep it together, and they're going to take the advantage.
Yeah, and Demon's Raw starting off strong. They had the barriers dropped quickly thanks to I, but it did not end up leading to their point for Bozo Bunch. And now, oh my goodness, as the KO comes out, I jumps right in with the Cyber Swipe, manages to get something here. Snake is down for the count, and we have Kainoob coming in with the flip, trying to just to stall things out as Snake comes back up in a second, moving his way forward with the Asher, and the flip gets the KO, finds the, I think that was the Sonic Boom plus flip, getting the KO onto Droplet, or sorry, onto I there. And now the power play is over, but can they get the second barrier? Oh my goodness, the KOs are coming back and forth, MV.
Yeah, really great recognition there from Dropletto. Earlier when I died there, I swear that they were sniffing out that Kainoob wanted to get that kill, but ended up dropping it anyway. Maybe looking to just the base drop. Flip from Gloomy, though, is not going to get too much here as Scurebreads nicely redirecting it on over. Here comes the pass splitter with Snake combination here. Nicely gets that flip with a literal last pixel. And it's going to be alive for the count here as Gumi's going to try to help it onto the top side. Kainoob has flow state active here, is going to be quite a big threat. Using a little bit of extra core speed with the Cyber Swipe to get it on past. Scurebreads keeping themselves alive right now, though, and gets it over to Gumi finally. Gets themselves a little bit of breathing room, but they still have a barrier to go through.
Yeah, one barrier to go through, and Demon's Raw have the advantage here. Gumi using the abilities, but a good jump in. The Cyber Swipe from I plus the Firewall Sentry opens up the net, but it is not enough as the Sonic Boom catches it. The Octavia primary just catching that strike and just sending it at such an unfortunate angle. Brett's nowhere near close enough to get it. It did not bounce the way that Bozo Bunch would have liked, and now this is a 2-0 lead in this set here. As Dropletto gets one barrier going into it, tries to get the second one with the punch, is not able to connect, but a good set of strike wars means I collects it. The final barrier, it is open, but they've been in this situation a few times. They need to finish it off.
Yeah, I really like the move up there from Scurebreads, getting some of these drones on in there to help with a lot of pressure, and Kainoob spends strike, it does nothing. I gets it on through, and really interesting way to have the ball roll into the goal there. Gumi probably asking everyone, what just happened? Guys, where's the ball?
But that's okay. We're off to the next point here. Dropletto getting a nice start off. It's close to an energy burst here as well. It's something that you really want. Energy burst on Juliet is really, really powerful, right? It is a third, it's a third ability in terms of attempting to KO, right? Because you go dash punch plus flip. And it's also a scoring tool and a barrier breaking tool. So it is something that Juliet really uses these energy bursts often, but have to use the elusive early, does not have the energy burst available, and now it is the barriers fallen for Bozo Bunch as they protect from what could be the final point of this set here. A lot of bounces going back and forth as two expanses are set up between Atlas and the middle, and it is Dropletto who's looking really low as Snake comes in for the KO, unable to find it, and now we are pushing the core as close to the net as possible with the flow state. Is it enough?
Ooh, it's going to be tight here. Dropletto does end up surviving, uses every last resource they have, and now they're still alive, but an insane amount of pressure here put on Kainoob. That strike was kind of crazy to dribble it right on up to Snake there. And man, Kainoob was kind of unbreakable there, and well, Dropletto couldn't really play as they were just trying to survive as much as they could here, and they're going to end up folding to the power of Demon's RAHH as we have kind of a nightmare if you are Bozo Bunch here with Kainoob as your first pick here. Spark on deck, Octavia grabbing whatever she wants here. Chrono Boost it's going to be. Maybe has enough health with that Spark of Resilience here. Taking the Spark themselves as it's going to be their second for I. Extra special here for Dropletto. We've seen the Fire Flurry can kind of hold the ball and get some kills as well. Force evades. Unstoppable showing up for Snake, which is fair, solid, which is good. Twin Drive here for now is fine as well. Maybe get some cooldown, that'd be kind of nice. And Gumi actually gets Hotshot last pick, which is just a really good awakening here for Atlas.
Yeah, can't be upset about that at all. And the biggest pickup here has got to be Kainoob on the Octavia, getting that Chrono Boost. Chrono Boost being one of, if not the best awakening that Octavia can get alongside something like Castellas or just, you know, a series of sparks. But unable to dodge that shot, we have a member down. It is I who is no longer here. The Aimi is disappeared. And we're going in for the final barrier here as the Snake tries to go on the primary, isn't able to connect, has the energy set up because he also has Catalyst himself. 2 games in a row, Catalyst Unstoppable. Snake is just repeating what happened on Atlas Lab. And now it is, oh my goodness, the stuffing potential with the Path Splitter plus just everything that Asher has is so hard to deal with.
Yeah, I'm like watching Obscure Breads doing like a pretty incredible, just putting on an incredible defense here. A lot of great decision making here and good use of their abilities, but sometimes things are just too overwhelming here, especially when you have Kainoob and Snake both right in your face, the Path Splitter as well, and maybe even a Barrier Beam just to knock you around. It's just sometimes you just can't do anything. You really sometimes are checkmated in this game, and that's fine. You have to accept the fact that you get checkmated in this game.
Yeah, and a good flip from Gumi manages to catch that and not able to get a second barrier. Bozo Bunch it's a tough situation for them trying to set up, and you can see that Dropletto was probably looking to get a dash punch KO onto Snake, but because Snake has the unstoppable there, Dropletto just has to leave, and it means the Snake can play on the edge so much more. But a good dash punch sends it through Snake, sends it through Gumi. And finally, I don't know how many points in a row that was for Demon's RAHH, but Bozo Bunch getting a little bit of breath back into their souls as they tie things up in the set.
For sure, that's exactly what they needed. Maybe a little bit of momentum here, though. But Dropletto maybe can find a kill or two, but it's mostly going to be Snake finding a kill or two with, again, just a dash into flip, a barrier beam into flip, whatever you want. Flip is going to be the thing that helps you get that kill, like you were mentioning before. It's just so powerful on Juliet and everyone else, too. Lose both barriers there with that power play. Obscure Breads does have this flip to try to keep themselves alive. A little bit of offensive pressure here from Ian Dropletto, but they kind of end up losing it here. Really great forward pressure from Kainoob and Snake. Now Gumi's going to move up, and it's just, again, there's too much going on. And it's like you kind of can't quantify the situation, so you don't really want to like just flip for no reason, and the ball just flies on in there, and it's a rough situation. And
yeah,
now,
unfortunate.
Well, last point here for Demon's RAHH.
Oh my god, who gets it? Kainoob picking up the middle with all the abilities coming through. I'm surprised he managed to catch it there. Giant Octavia, one of the weird things that interacts with the middle orb is that when you lose the orb, you actually lose all the health that you gain from it. So you just just lose that health. It's just gone. Like if you were at full health, you now have like 3/4 of your health. So I don't know why it works that way, but either way, the map is favored for Octavia. You mentioned it the last time we were on it, but it is I who picks it up here. At least manages to get out of the stagger range. Goes for the KO. Actually, it was kind of awkward there because Dropletto passed down to I, but I came up for the kill, which means that Dropletto, even though they got the kill, the bottom half was just open because I was no longer there. And Gumi goes for the shot, isn't able to connect. I like that he's going out. Snake is doing his pseudo goalie. It didn't work.
That was definitely, I would call that pseudo goalie for sure. Standing in place, becoming a turret, not even doing a very great job there. I do respect Gumi going for that flip shot before. It was really close. And it's going to be the last point they need. I not striking there.
Oh,
and
no.
I think I needed to do strike cyber swipe for sure. They kind of just left the ball, left Obscure Breads out to dry, and they are That's it. Demons Raw is going to be taking that series here, moving on to a 5-2 record in this week 7. Congratulations to them. A solid performance here from Bozo Bunch, but you know, next week's another week, guys.
Yeah, that was not the way I was going, especially with such a strong start in game one. I don't even think it was like, it was definitely a close game, but it looked like Bozo Bunch played extremely well. And then even in the Atlas Lab, they started off strong, but it was just getting slowly clawed away. It was on. If anyone here is a Super Smash Bros. Fan and watches Ultimate, and they know about MK Leo, and it's one of those things where you can be like two sets up on MK Leo, but the moment he wins game 3, and you're just like, oh, it's over. The moment he wins 1, it's over. And it's like kind of like the same thing here with Demons Raw. They just got enough adaptation, and then that was it. They just blitzed off with it, and there was no coming back.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the ending of that game too was really just like a momentum breaker for Bozo Bunch. It felt like Demons Raw really scaled. They got the size that they needed on that X. They got all the power. I mean, the Mako had extra speed. I mean, it was just a force to be reckoned with, and they carried that momentum maybe straight into this game here, though, making Bozo Bunch possibly second guess on some of these plays. We did see I, quote-unquote, jump out of position in some situations where they were like, oh, perfect, got a kill. And even if they got the kill, you know, Obscure Breads wasn't really seeing that situation. Might be there's a barrier for it, and it's hard. It's tough. I get it. Getting kills is the easiest way to make the game as simple as possible, and, you know, your power plays, you want them as much as possible, that's great. But yeah, sometimes jumping out of position is rough when you're not on the same page. But I mean, that's really gonna be it for that game, though. I mean, we see not too much damage was even given on both of these sides here, but hold on a second. We actually are going to be going to a break. Would you believe it here, Mystic? Anything you'd like to say about that last game before we go on to this incredible break?
Exciting game. It's nice to see Demons Rock coming back up. They were, you know, a little bit of slower start to the season, right? The most amount of losses we've seen come out of them that quickly, into now kind of clawing their way back up to and securing their spot as a top play or a top team of NASL. So stick around, as next game will be Bang and Showtime when we come back from the break.